We're doing a lot of stability shoes lately. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Today is the first run impressions video in the middle of the week, and hopefully I can actually get this video done. If you're watching this, that means that I did. But work has just been so crazy, and it's really hard to put out videos in the middle of the week for me right now, but I'm gonna give it a try, and that's why I'm sitting in front of this camera, we're standing, right now. I did run in the shoe once before, but I didn't film it, and today I'm gonna film it and really try to think about how the shoe feels while I'm running. And that shoe is the Hoka Arahi 5. I think stability shoes and stability shoe runners really don't get a lot of attention. So anytime that I can help out my overpronators and my underpronators and my this and my that and my stability queens, I will. So we're gonna lace these up, we're gonna go for a run, and then I'm gonna tell you all about my thoughts on the Hoka Arahi 5. Let's go.
Stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, come back, don't come around no more. Trouble, stay away from my door. Never stay away from my home. Never stay away from my home. Never go on back and leave my soul alone. Never stay away from my home.
All right, I'm back from my run, and now it's time to talk all about the Hoka Arahi 5. Stability shoes have been getting some extra love on this channel lately, and I'm not mad about it. And I'm especially not mad about this shoe. Before we get started with the first run impressions of the Hoka Arahi 5, I do want to let you guys know that this shoe was sent to me by Running Warehouse and Hoka. However, they're not paying me to say anything special. They can't tell me what to say, and all of my opinions are completely my own. So with that, let's start with the specs. The Hoka Arahi 5 is 7.8 ounces for a women's size 8, but for my size 10.5 women's, this shoe came in at about 9.3 ounces. It has a 5mm drop, though I can't find the exact stack height measurements on Running Warehouse's website or on Hoka's website, so sorry, not sure, but just know it's a 5mm drop. And good news, I actually haven't had a true to size Hoka in a while. I felt like they had a little too much room. But here in the Arahi 5, I'm happy to tell you that I do think it is true to size. The upper of the Hoka Arahi 5 is an engineered mesh. It's very lightweight, super breathable, and a pretty comfortable feeling material. If we move to the midfoot, you'll see that there are some overlays there to provide structure and keep you locked down on that platform. And the heel counter is also very sturdy, and it's just gonna give you that extra stability element and hold your foot in place. Like I said, this shoe is very breathable, and it is also very cold where I am right now. So while this might not be amazing for the colder climates that some of us are experiencing right now, I do think that a thicker sock does alleviate that, and when the weather starts to get warmer, this shoe will do just fine in those climates. As I always say, I do have a narrow foot, but as far as the room in the toe box area goes, I felt like I had plenty, but it wasn't too much. I wasn't swimming in it. So I did welcome that little bit of extra room there. And still, even with the room and like the space of this upper, I was still able to get a nice locked in fit through the midfoot. So I was very happy about that. The laces are flat and thin and pretty stretchy. I think they're basically the same laces that Hoka has in all of their shoes. The tongue is padded and it is gusseted, which is great for, like I said, lockdown through the midfoot. Big thumbs up there. And we do have some nice padding on the ankle collar and the heel counter with this little flare here, as you can see. But I like it because it's not overly padded. It's just enough, perfect for a daily trainer. It's not gonna swallow your foot whole, but it's gonna be comfortable, and that's what we want. I don't really have anything to complain about in this upper. One thing that I will say that I found interesting, and I don't know if this is because on the day that I was running there was some like ice and slush on the ground, but I did notice on both the medial and lateral side of the shoe that I had like a couple wet patches, and I'm not sure if that was sweat or if that was just, you know, snow and stuff like hitting the upper. It would be interesting if it was sweat because I feel like this shoe is pretty breathable, but hey, anything can happen, I guess. Just something that I wanted to point out. But other than that, I had no issues with hot spots, blisters, irritation, and I think the upper does a nice job of being a stability shoe upper, but also not being too bulky and crazy. The shoe that I reviewed on Sunday was the Hurricane 23 from Saucony, another great stability shoe, but that upper is very beefed up, very, very, very padded and dense. This is a different take on stability uppers, and I think that I would kind of prefer this better for everyday use. The midsole of the Hoka Arahi 5 has a lot of different technologies that we need to talk about. The first one being that the foam here is a full-length EVA material, and it is very soft and plush and comfortable, perfect for daily training mileage. And then, of course, we have the stability element, which is the Hoka signature J-frame. And basically what that is that it's a firmer piece of EVA that wraps from the medial side of the shoe to the back of the heel, around the heel, to the beginning of the lateral side of the shoe. And that's what helps to keep your foot from overpronating and rolling inward. You have this bumper to sort of lift you back up onto that platform and correct your stride. I actually really like this technology. I love when a company can find a way to do stability without putting plastic and all these different systems into a shoe. I think it's a really nice idea and smart to use a firmer EVA, and it corrected my stride pretty well. As you can see from this footage, I'm not really overpronating that much at all. I was skeptical that a Hoka stability shoe would not really feel like a Hoka. It would just be firm and kind of a bleh ride, just not something that I'm super into. But actually, I was wrong about that. It's pretty soft in that forefoot area into that midfoot, very plush, very comfortable. I wouldn't say that it's as soft as like a Clifton 7, but it is definitely still plush and comfortable. Maybe it's a little bit softer than a Rincon. It's like somewhere in between those two shoes. And all that pairs very nicely with the other technology that's in this shoe, and that's just the early stage Metarocker, which is basically just a technology that helps you roll forward into your next stride, get you up on your toes, and just keep you cruising. One thing that I do want to point out though about this midsole with the J-frame is that while I find the forefoot of the shoe to be pretty soft, I found the heel area of the shoe to be a little too firm. And that's obviously because of the J-frame. It wraps around this heel area. I'm mostly striking in my midfoot to forefoot, so this wasn't really a problem for me. But if you are somebody who is a heel striker, I don't know that you're gonna get all the plushness and the benefit of that EVA midsole. That being said, I really like the midsole of this shoe. For somebody who's looking for a daily trainer that's not gonna have intrusive stability, then I think that this is a really nice option, especially if you like a softer feeling underfoot. If we turn this shoe over, you'll see that Hoka is using their lightweight high abrasion rubber. They have some in the forefoot, some along the lateral side of the midfoot, and then some in the heel. I think this rubber does just fine on, you know, your standard pavement, gravel, grass sort of terrain. I don't think you'll have a problem there. Though I will say I don't think this is going to be the best shoe for icy conditions and other wintry sort of vibes like that. I don't think that this is the best rubber since there's not really any real like lugs on the shoe. But for your normal weather days, this is going to be just fine. I have about 14 miles in the shoe at the moment, and the rubber seems perfectly fine. Doesn't really look like there's any real wear on it. And even the EVA, the exposed EVA here is fine as well. Another thing I do want to point out that I like about Hoka's in general, and this shoe especially, is the wide platform. I'm really sick of shoes that are wide in the forefoot and get super narrow in the midfoot and then sort of widen out again in the heel. For me, that causes a lot of overpronation issues. And here, this is a stability shoe, but in all Hoka's really, we keep it wide throughout. And I really appreciate that. The more surface area that my shoe can touch on the ground, the better, especially in a daily trainer where I'm not trying to like pick up the pace so much and just like get the miles in. You know, I want to cover a lot of surface area so that I'm stable. So that's just another nice little element that they added, and I always appreciate. The Hoka Arahi 5 is $129.95 on runningwarehouse.com, which I think is a pretty standard price for this shoe. Usually stability shoes are up there in price, but I like that they kind of kept this in the middle of the road, didn't go too high. If you're interested in picking up your own pair of the Arahi 5, just go to the link in the description of this video. Keep in mind, this is an affiliate link with Running Warehouse. However, that doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can try these stability shoes and see which ones are the most stable and the least intrusive on your stride. Speaking of least intrusive on your stride, I do think that this just allows you to not think about where you're stepping and be stable without feeling like it's forcing your foot, which is a nice theme that I've been seeing in a lot of the newer stability shoes out on the market. It's early to say if I like this better than the Hurricane 23 or like the Kayano Light, which I will be fully reviewing soon. But I have to say that it is definitely up there in terms of the stability shoes that I have experienced, and I am digging what Hoka is doing here. I'll be putting this shoe through the paces to 50 miles, of course, so stick around for the full review if you want to know more. Well, guys, that concludes my first run impressions of the Hoka Arahi 5. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a new video. Hoka! I have another video for you guys on Sunday, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Heller. See you next time. Hi, Ruby. Oh, okay. Well then, forget it.